In the summer and fall of 2014, I continued learning about the amusement park industry and took some time away from my contracting. The year before, I had done my restoration of Conneaut Lake Park throughout the entire 2013 season. And in October of that year, I went to the Pennsylvania Amusement Park Safety Ride Seminar in Hershey, PA, which is held for a few days there in Hershey, where I took a test and passed, I think, with a 96% on becoming an amusement park ride inspector. Over the 3 or 4 days that I was there, I had courses in mechanics for rides, safety for haunted houses and walkthroughs, fire safety, roller coasters, inflatables and moonwalks, water attractions, safety inspections, pneumatics, hydraulics, all types of things. The only problem was Adams Amusements and Conneaut Lake Park said I wasn't affiliated with the park because I wasn't actually an employee there, even though I'd work alongside Lenny Adams and all the guys there with Structural Technologies and Adams Amusements, working on the park, trying to do some repairs, doing all the landscaping and all the painting there, and also taking place in that Travel Channel makeover that year. So I was pretty bummed out that I couldn't get that Pennsylvania ride inspector license. According to Pennsylvania's rules, you have to be affiliated with a park, and like I said, I wasn't technically affiliated with them since I wasn't an employee. Lenny Adams was actually instructor for some of the courses that I took, and his guys were up there, as well as some of the guys from Kennywood and the other parks I've gone to, and they were aware I was trying to break into the amusement industry, and I did work alongside them all season. So yeah, it was definitely a letdown when that happened. So fast forward about 7 or 8 months, I've done a lot of houses and a lot of painting and landscaping in my neck of the woods and in the Natrona Heights, Katanning area, suburbs of Pittsburgh, and was still trying to break into the amusement industry, which is what I really wanted to do. But if I was going to be doing any more painting or construction or building, I wanted that to be in an amusement park type of atmosphere, like the kind of themed attractions work I was doing over at Conneaut Lake Park and Ghost Lake. And although I did apply to Kennywood Park and also Idlewild Park in Soak Zone, Kennywood was about an hour's drive and closer to Pittsburgh, and I lived about an hour away from there, and Idlewild and Soak Zone was actually about an hour and 15 minutes, so it was quite a commute, so I wasn't sure if that was going to be the answer. I went ahead and started looking for a carnival or local amusement company to go on with. The idea was to learn a lot more about the amusement industry, learning about the mechanics of the rides, how to repair them, put them together, take them apart. I decided to go on with LAM Enterprises around Pittsburgh, who does a lot of the carnivals in my area. I had been with them for a few weeks way back in 2005, and I went back with them for a few weeks again, just for some of the local carnivals they were putting on around my area, just to help out and gain some experience along the way. Shortly after that, I actually went on an interview at Idlewild Park in Soak Zone and got the job, so I wound up working for Idlewild instead. And now I'm actually going to be in a big amusement park like I actually wanted to, instead of with a traveling carnival or some other smaller amusement company. I was actually hired for maintenance and grounds since I was good at landscaping and painting, and eventually went on with a carpenter there and started working on some of the water rides and the Jumpin Jungle playground area. I had told them about what had happened with Conneaut Lake and how I wanted to be a ride inspector, so I wasn't actually on the mechanical team, the guys that actually repair the rides, like the Spider and the Ferris wheel, which is what I really wanted to do and work on the coaster. But under the carpenter, we actually were in charge of doing ride inspections and maintenance on Rafters Run and the Serpentine Slides and the pool and the different areas of Soak Zone, as well as all the playground equipment, the mud slide, the tree house, and everything over there in Jumpin Jungle. And we also did walkthroughs, inspections for Confusion Hill, to Dizzy Lizzie's, and that sort of thing. Here I walk through Confusion Hill where I do my inspection. I'm looking for wasp and bee nests, looking for bird nests, any animals, anything on the floor that children and families could trip over, pieces of broken wood, any railings that are coming apart or coming off the hinges that need repaired, banisters, basically any type of safety hazard. One of the attractions I had to inspect every day at the Jumpin Jungle was the Bubbling Springs ball pit. Even as an adult, it was kind of fun jumping around in that ball pit, but the way to inspect it was we had to get on our hands and knees with gloves. You actually get down into the balls, crawl around on your hands and knees and feel around for any sharp objects, any objects at all that you can actually find. And you're wearing the gloves because it can get dirty in there. Kids do get sick. They do have a ball cleaner right outside attached to the machine, a machine attached to the outside of the ride, and all the balls are dumped into the net after they're cleaned, and then they're taken from that net and put back down into the ride. You're actually going back and forth all the way through that thing, covering the whole area, the whole floor, trying to find any kind of objects. And there would be quarters and dimes and watches and little toys and different things you'd have to pull out of there. park's kiddieland is called Raccoon Lagoon, and it's also one of the largest and most scenic children's areas in the country. And the main Midway's carousel is also one of the most beautiful carousels I think I've ever seen, and it was built in 1930 by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. Jumpin Jungle also has this big tree house. It's 3 levels, probably 40, 45 feet high. And it's got all these things attached to it. There's a tunnel crawl, which is like a net, and it's all the way around you. You crawl through this net type of tunnel. There's also a net climb, which goes up the full 3 levels to get to the top. And there's a suspension bridge that you walk across from the other direction that leads to the tree house as well. Here you see that net climb, and I would actually go up this thing every day, and it was tiring work. I'd have to hold onto the side, and as I'm walking up, pulling myself all the way up to the top, I'm checking for any tears in the net, any sharp pieces, any of the grommets and metal connectors and fasteners on the left side or on the right side, depending which side I was going up, that might be sticking out or might be sharp or might be worn or broken that need replaced. You're actually checking all the way across the center too as you're going up, but you're basically holding on to the side because that's easier to walk up and hold on to the side, and that's where you can check all the metal connections where the net's all connected to. This is Bigfoot's mudslide. It's just like the old Astro slide at Conneaut Lake Park or Cedar Point or some of the other parks that used to have them back in the 70s and 80s, but a smaller version. So I would walk up the sides of this thing and just feel for sharp objects just as usual, like I would on most of the other attractions. I'd look underneath and inspect underneath to make sure nothing was sticking up through it. I'd feel through the surface. I'd reach across and feel, make sure there's nothing sharp that the little kids could get scratched or scraped on, and just make sure that it was all put together well. There was no holes or any cracks in it. And just like all the other attractions, I'm looking at all the wooden areas too, like the queue line and where they're walking before they get onto the top of the slide, and looking underneath the roof and making sure there's no wasp or hornet nests. Thanks for watching my video of my time at Idlewild Park as a maintenance tech and ride inspector. Be sure to watch my next video on Idlewild Park Soak Zone, where I also inspected and made repairs to the water slides and other water attractions. See you next time.